The seven wonders of the world are a collection of the most breathtaking human and/or man-made structures from the ancient era to the modern world. When you mention a wonder of the world, you undoubtedly mention one of the greatest mega projects of all time. From the Great Wall of China to the Great Pyramids, whose construction may have been achieved by higher intelligence. On this episode of Built a Billion, we uncover the mysteries of two of our world wonders. To this day, it's unsure how the Great Pyramids were built, but could there have been a more advanced intelligence that helped the Egyptians build this immense structure? Stay till the end to find out. If you love to hear about all the mega projects of the world, please subscribe to the channel and help us get to our goal of 500 subscribers. It'll really help the channel out. Great Wall of China. China was home to one of the great classical civilizations that gave the modern world its foothold. The early Chinese invented gunpowder, paper, and laid the foundations for the longest man-made structure ever constructed. The Great Wall of China is 21,000 kilometers or 13,000 miles long and passes through over 400 towns in northern and central China. Most people would think that it's a long continuous structure, but they'd be wrong. It's more of a series of fortifications with origins between the 5th and 8th centuries BC. Back then, China was divided into several warring states that were always trying to expand their territory. Rulers of these states began to build high walls to keep out invaders, and by the 3rd century, these states united under the Qin dynasty. This is when the emperor extended the wall and connected the existing parts. However, the most famous portions of the structure came together during the Ming dynasty in the 14th century, 1700 years later. 1/3 of the wall and some of its strongest sections were built during this period, thanks to the Mongols, who were very scary and wanted to conquer the world really bad. The materials used in the wall's construction vary greatly and depend upon the terrain the wall passed through, along with the materials in surrounding areas. In some sections, soil and wood were used, while in others you'll find marble, brick, and a secret material that has preserved it through hundreds of years. This X Factor is an unusual mortar that contains sticky rice. It was discovered during the Ming era that this sticky rice could be as strong as cement and held the bricks so tightly that weeds couldn't even grow between them. The Ming era sections still stand today and have even withstood earthquakes. But building the Great Wall of China wasn't easy. Frequently, huge stones and bricks had to be carried to mountaintops through difficult terrain. Laborers had to use their hands because there was no powerful machinery, and so many died from hunger and exhaustion. Some say the estimation for the total death count is around 400,000 people. Sounds a lot like a construction project in the Middle East today, doesn't it? The Great Wall of China is a monument for the millions of laborers that constructed it, as it continues to attract 10 million visitors every year. But not all of the wall sections are as well maintained as the Ming portion. Weather conditions have made 1/3 of the wall collapse, and villagers have even stolen materials from the wall, leading to its decay. Now we head back 5,000 years to ancient Egypt, one of the most advanced civilizations that probably ever existed on the planet. Today, we still admire the Egyptian culture and advances in all aspects of life like math, language, medicine, and architecture. And speaking of architecture, the Great Pyramid of Giza, possibly the greatest wonder of the world, still continues to mesmerize people from all over the world. This gigantic structure was built in only 27 years and is 146.5 meters tall, consisting of 2.3 million blocks. Except these blocks weigh the equivalent of an SUV, showing how far ahead of their time the Egyptians were. Right when it was finished, the pyramid looked very different than it does today, with a smooth white limestone coating. The tip of the pyramid was covered with golden capstone, which made it visible for many miles in any direction. Over time, the limestone was removed to build other monuments like the Cairo Citadel and various mosques across the capital, resulting in the Great Pyramid of Giza's 8-meter decrease in height. But how did the ancient Egyptians build it? With no modern tools, how did they quarry, transport, and position these colossal stones? It's believed the Egyptians used wooden sleds to move the blocks through the sand, but dragging anything through sand will make your object sink and make it very difficult to move. So they wet the sand first. This made the sand harder and much easier to move the sleds over to the construction site. Even more fascinating, it was discovered 8,000 tons of granite stones came from 900 kilometers south of the Nile, with each block weighing about 80 tons. Next came the perfect installation of these stones in building the actual pyramid. Here's where it gets tricky, because scientists have many different theories on how this was done, many of which include ramps. This is the only method we can think of logically due to the lack of cranes. But if they used a single ramp, the inclination of it would have to be 8%, otherwise it'd be too difficult to drag the stones up. But this means the ramp would extend to 1.8 kilometers, creating a harder challenge than building the pyramid itself. Then, maybe it was thought that they built a ramp that went around the pyramid to the top. But the problem with that is, the edges of the ramp wouldn't be completed until the pyramid was, which was a paradox. French architect Jean-Pierre Houdin then entered the chat to present his own theory after 7 years of research. He suggested that maybe they had an external ramp to craft the first third of the pyramid, then used internal ramps that went towards the top in a corkscrew shape, making it much easier to align the corners. There's evidence that may support this claim in microgravimetry scans that are used to measure density. The image shows that there are areas of the pyramid with lower density, which suggests there may have been tunnels used to build the pyramid and provide support for an internal ramp theory. But no entrances to any tunnels have been discovered, so that explanation currently has no merit as well. These days, there are theories investigating the possibilities of the pyramids being built by sound, or even consciousness itself. Researchers don't even know who built the pyramid or how, and it's a question that is frequently swept under the rug. To me, it's common sense that anything that was built in ways we don't understand was built with methods we don't understand. The only issue with mainstream science is that they wave off any possibilities that can't be proven, and anything that can't be explained, they deem as a mystery and go no further. Pyramids have recently been discovered to disrupt the quantum field in a way that promotes all types of healing. Seriously, look it up. Is it possible that the ancient Egyptians were gifted these pyramids from higher intelligence? I think that's the most likely answer, and only time will tell. Should we make another video about the other wonders of the world? Let me know in the comments below. I have plenty other videos for you to binge watch, so click that video on the screen to watch something you haven't seen. And thanks for visiting Built a Billion.